There it is. Okay. So if you go to your calculator, and this is the one that I downloaded for the iPad, and I just hit mode right here. Okay, I don't think you can actually see my, my keystrokes that I'm actually typing in. But if you see mode right under shift, you click on mode, and then you go down, and now you see how it's radians and degrees. We want that to be in degrees. So if you have a calculator at home, you're going to get completely different answers when you type this in if you don't put your calculator in degrees. So click mode. I think it's a little different on the actual calculators. Mode is just to the right of the second button if you have a calculator at home. But you need to go in and put degrees on there. So I'm doing my calculator in my hand. You won't see it on the screen. But when you type in 19 times the sine of 28 degrees, what you will get is 8.9. And we're going to round all of these to the nearest tenth, because that's what they asked us for right here. So 8.9. So that was sine. And I'm going to go through a lot of these. This will be definitely a longer video because I want to make sure you guys have plenty of opportunities to learn this. So for number 2, we're going to do the same thing. We have our reference angle here. So we need to label all of our sides. So this is our hypotenuse. This is our adjacent because it's touching. And this is our opposite because it does not touch that angle. So the two things they gave us here are opposite and adjacent. The hypotenuse is blank, so we're not going to use it. Okay, so the two things they gave us are opposite and adjacent. So we're looking for which one has opposite and adjacent, and that is tangent. So we're going to set this up as tangent of theta equals opposite over adjacent. I want you guys to write this out every single time, just to practice. Even get a loose sheet of paper. The more and more you write it down, the better and better you'll get, and the more you'll memorize it. So tangent of 41 degrees equals opposite, which is x, over adjacent, which is 32. So again, we multiply 32 to both sides. To save space, I'm just going to do that. And then if we type in 32 tangent of 41, and you don't even have to do times tangent. You don't even have to do the little dot here. In your calculator, it just pops up like this, and you hit enter. So when you write them right next to each other, obviously that's multiplication. Maybe I didn't need to explain that, but that will be 27.8. All right, for number 3. So we have our reference angle. 26 is our hypotenuse. X is our adjacent. The blank is our opposite. So they gave us adjacent and hypotenuse. So we're looking up here of which one has adjacent and hypotenuse. We're using cosine for this one. So we have cosine of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of 21 degrees equals x over 26. Multiply both sides by 26, and that will give you 24.3 as your final answer there. All right, that should be pretty good. I'll leave you and you also have plenty of practice on the homework to do. But for number 5, this one's going to be a little bit different, and you'll see why. So we have our reference angle, hypotenuse, adjacent, opposite. So this one uses O and H. So the one that uses O and H is sine. So we're using sine here. So the sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. And then the sine of 33 degrees equals 15 over x. Now, here the x is on the denominator. So I'm going to show you the long way, and then I'm going to show you a shortcut, okay? So to get that x to the top, we're going to multiply both sides by x. So that would cancel this out, and that would just leave us with x times sine of 33 equals 15. So I'll write it again just so that you guys can see this. And then afterwards, if I'm solving for x, and that's multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides, sorry, not by x, I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 33 degrees. So my final answer here is just x equals 15 divided by the sine of 33 degrees. And we'll type that in and get an answer. And that would be, let's see here, 27.5. So that will be our final answer. But I do want to show you something. If you notice in our original problem right here, we just had x, we had sine of 33 degrees equals 15 divided by x. And if you look at our last final step right here, the x and the sine of 33 pretty much just switched places, right? All they did was switch places. The 15 stays up top. So as long as you don't have anything else going on in the problem, that's a really easy way to do this. And instead of having to multiply by x and then divide by the sine of 33, every single time you can just take these and switch their spots. So that will be x equals 15 sine of 33. And I'll do 6 and 7 with you and show you that. So it'll be a lot faster. All right, so for number 6, our reference angle, 43 degrees. Hypotenuse is x. Adjacent is 36. That's the opposite. So we're looking for A and H, which is cosine. So hopefully you're getting the hang of that. Adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of 43 degrees equals 36 over x. And now, like we said before, all we have to do is just switch spots with these. So that will be x equals 36 divided by the cosine of 43. Again, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. It won't change out of degree mode unless you reset your calculator. So even if you turn it off and turn it back on, it should stay in degree mode. So you don't have to type it in every single problem. But yeah, just make sure it is once you're doing this stuff, and it'll be 49.2. All right, for number 7, reference angle here, hypotenuse, adjacent, opposite. So that will be tangent because they gave us opposite and adjacent. Tangent of 72 degrees equals 25 over x. We will switch those places, and that should give you 8.1. All right, so lastly for 9 and 10, we have a little bit of word problems here. And all this is they're getting you to draw the triangle. So Jake leaned a 12-foot ladder against his house. So there's the ladder. And then here is Jake's house. Okay? So here's the triangle that we're focusing on, right? Right here. All right, so if the angle formed by the ladder and the ground is 68 degrees, so this angle right here is 68 degrees, and there is our reference angle. This is obviously a right angle. How far from the base of the house did he place the ladder? So we have x there, and we know that it's a 12-foot ladder. So you don't have to obviously draw the house and everything. You can just draw the triangle, and that's perfectly fine. But as long as you can visualize it, and then be able to label it as well. So this is hypotenuse, this is adjacent, the side of the house is opposite. So we're looking for adjacent and hypotenuse, which is cosine. So that'll be the cosine of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse, which is cosine of 68, x over 12. And you guys know now that we can just take 12 and multiply it by the cosine of 68. And that will give you 4.5. Now again, they gave you feet, so that's going to be 4.5 feet. And for number 10, a ramp is used to load suitcases onto an airplane. So here is our ramp. It says the cargo door is 7 feet from the ground. In other words, here's the door, and this is 7 feet high, right, going up into the airplane. And then the angle formed by the end of the ramp and the ground here is 25 degrees. How long is the ramp? So we're not looking for this distance. We are looking for this one, right? How long is the actual ramp to go up to the door? So now we can label these, and we have our hypotenuse. This will be adjacent. This will be opposite. So the two things that use opposite and hypotenuse are sine. The sine of 25 degrees, 7 over x. This is our trick where we switch the places. And then once you multiply that out, you will get 16.6 feet. All right, so I know this is a little difficult topic, and I apologize for posting this a little late. I thought I had already made this video and posted it. But if you guys have a question or anything like that, just shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer as quickly as possible. So hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and email me